Let's think about a bite of pizza. Warm, melted cheese with a savory blend of robust tomatoes and herbs, all on top of a garlic buttery crust. That's making my mouth water, and I'm sure it's making yours too. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a pizza homemade from scratch. No driving to the pizza shop, no paying $30 for some teenage delivery man throwing around your pizza in the backseat of his car with the cheese all melted on the side of the cardboard box. So today, you can stay in your pajamas in the comfort of your own kitchen and make a delicious meal with your family. First, we're going to talk about the base of the pizza, the dough, which forms the crust. There are a couple different routes we can take here. We can buy a pre-made dough. That's all ready to go. We can make a refrigerated dough that you buy from the store that's you bake by yourself and then put the toppings on. Or you can make your own dough from scratch. If you make your own dough from scratch, it can last up to 3 months in the freezer. Talk about convenience, an easy dinner on a work night. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a scratch dough, homemade, but in the example, I'll be using a pre-made dough. So here's the recipe. First, we're going to get 1/4 of an ounce of yeast, and we're going to add 2/3 a cup of very warm water to it. We're going to combine this and set it aside to let the warm water activate the yeast, which is about 5 minutes. All right, now that we have that done, we're going to set that aside. Now, we are going to take a medium-sized bowl, and we are going to mix the sugar, which is 1½ teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. We're going to mix the oil, which is 3 tablespoons. And I'm just going to eyeball this. 1, 2, 3. And the salt, which we need 3/4 a teaspoon of salt. And I'm using Himalayan pink salt because it's the healthiest salt you can buy. I mean, no salt is healthy, but the Himalayan pink salt has vitamins and antioxidants, and it's completely natural. So I'm going to stir this together just until the salt and the sugar are partially dissolved within the oil. And now I'm going to add all-purpose flour. And we're going to add little by little, but you're going to end up using about 1/3 to 2 1/4 cup of flour. And this is just all-purpose flour, nothing fancy. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. I'm going to start off with about half the mixture, maybe a little bit more. And I'm just going to stir this. And what you're looking for is you want it to start forming into a ball. And it looks like I'm probably going to take over with my hands here. These are the best cooking utensils that God gave you. So I'm just going to form this until it starts. Everything is all combined now. So we are going to add our yeast and water mixture. And stir again. It's a little liquidy still, so I'm going to add some more of my flour. It's starting to form into a ball. Once it gets there, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Whoops, I made a little bit of a mess. And you can also do this if you have a KitchenAid mixer. You could use a little dough hook. I didn't use it today because it's just easier for me to record it on the kitchen table to show you guys. But you're gonna have a ball of dough just like this. See, it should look like this, just a ball of dough. And you're gonna put it into an oiled medium-sized bowl because it's gonna double in size. So I'm just gonna transfer it in here. Make sure that the bowl is oiled. It's very important because the dough will stick to the bowl if it's not oiled. And then next, I'm going to wrap it in plastic. Now we're going to set it aside in a warm, dry place with no draft, and we're going to let it double in size, which will be about an hour. So next, we can focus on the sauce. And with the sauce, there's a couple different routes you can take too. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about sauce. There are so many different types of sauces you can choose from. The most popular are Alfredo, barbecue, and marinara. But you can get creative and spunky and do sauces like pesto, Thai chili, sweet barbecue. You can do pepper jelly, soy miso. The options are endless, and I could go on and on and on explaining all of them. But today we're just going to make my family's favorite, which is marinara. First, we're going to start off with a medium-sized pan. We're going to turn the heat on medium-high. Once it's warmed up, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're just going to eye that. Okay. We're going to give this a second just to warm up. For this recipe, you're going to need one medium onion, 3 garlic cloves, 3 15 ounces of crushed tomatoes, so 60 ounces of crushed tomatoes. I'm just following the recipe. 8 to 10 basil leaves. You're going to need a pinch of sugar, a half a cup of chicken broth, and a pinch of salt and pepper. And that's it. Easy as that. Some of the greatest flavors can be made with simple and few ingredients as long as you know how to cook them right. So now that my oil's warmed up a little bit, we're going to add my onion and my garlic. And you should hear that nice sizzle and you know that it's ready. We're just going to cook these down a little bit until the garlic is nice and soft and the onion is translucent. And I'm going to add a little bit of my salt and pepper. And I feel it's important that you should always season every layer that you add. We're just going to cook this for a couple of minutes. I'm curious as to what everybody else's favorite pizzas are. In the comments, why don't you leave your favorite pizza? I would love to hear it. Okay, my pan was really hot, so my onions are already done. So now I'm going to add half a cup of my chicken broth, and I'm going to deglaze the bottom of the pan. We're going to stir this around a little bit. And you're going to let the chicken broth reduce down to half. Usually this will take about 5 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step since we're on a timed video. Next, we're going to add our crushed tomatoes. For this, I used organic crushed tomatoes with red organic basil and tomato puree. So I'm going to add this. And then also, in combination with that, I cut up 5 Roma potatoes, just to give it some freshness. And I'm going to stir that around. And now that we've added a couple new layers, I'm going to salt and pepper again. So a little bit of salt. and a little bit of pepper. This doesn't come out a lot, so I'm not pouring a lot, I promise. Then you're gonna stir all that up together. And at this step, I'm gonna add a pinch of sugar just to give it some depth, give the flavor depth. You're gonna get some sweet and saltiness. And then finally, I'm going to add 8 to 10 basil leaves and 1 teaspoon of oregano. And here's my oregano right here. I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of it. That should be enough. And then we're just going to let this sauce cook down. Can you see it? It's beautiful. It just needs to cook down a little bit. Since we have the uncooked tomatoes in there that aren't crushed, I'm going to take my little crusher utensil here that you can use for potatoes or anything, and I'm just going to, once the tomatoes are nice and soft from cooking down a little bit, you're just going to crush the tomatoes, because you don't want a chunky sauce on your pizza. Well, you might want a chunky sauce on your pizza, but I don't like it. My family doesn't prefer that. So you can make it to your preference and liking. Now, I already have a sauce that's done cooking, and next we're going to talk about toppings. There are several different options for toppings, whether you're a vegetarian or a meat lover, or even if you just like plain cheese. Everybody has options for pizza. This is my pre-made pizza that I baked in the oven for 5 minutes, and now we're going to make a supreme pizza. I'm going to take my sauce that's been simmering for 30 minutes, and I'm going to spread it right on top. And however much sauce you want is your preference. The basil smells delicious. I hope that you guys try this at home. You see the steam coming up? It's just fresh and delicious. I can smell the depth of the flavors in it that have been simmering for 30 minutes. All right, next I have some ham. So I'm going to put some sliced, and this is lean turkey ham because I'm trying to eat healthy lately. So I'm going to put that on top. I love ham and pineapple pizza too. Don't know if any of you have tried that, but it's delicious. Now I'm going to put some mushrooms and onions. And these are just shiitake mushrooms and red onion. You don't want to overcrowd your pizza with toppings. You want to make sure you have enough room for cheese and it doesn't weigh down the pizza and get soggy. Next, we're going to use green bell pepper. You can use green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper, yellow, pretty much any color that you like. I like to use the green for some depth in color. I don't know if you can see this, but it just looks delicious so far. You have the purple, the green, the white from the mushrooms. It just looks fantastic. Next, we're going to put some more meat on it. I'm going to add some pepperoni. And you can add sausage if you'd like. But today, we chose ham and pepperoni. And we're just going to lay that on top however you want to. You can make a cute little smiley face for your kiddos. Or you can just do it in a random pattern like I do. Alright, so now we've finished the pepperoni, and this is what your pizza looks like right now. Next, I have 3 types of cheese. The first cheese I have is mozzarella. It's just regularly shredded, not finely shredded, because I like a lot of cheese on my pizza. So I'm going to sprinkle it, and we're not going to overcrowd the pizza with cheese, because I don't know if any of you have baked a pizza and put too much cheese on it. It kind of spreads out everywhere, and it really weighs down the pizza and makes it soggy. So that's for my mozzarella. And next I'm going to use my cheddar. I like cheddar cheese on pizza, but it's up to you, it's preference. You can use any of your favorite cheeses. I've seen Gruyere cheese on it. I've seen Brie cheese on pizza. Pretty much any type of cheese that you like, you can put on your pizza. And next I have finely grated Parmesan. And I grated this myself, so it'd be nice and fresh. Just gonna put a little bit on, just like that. And now your pizza is ready to be cooked. And there are several different ways that you can cook your pizza. When you're ready to cook it, you will need to decide on a method and heat source. There's a variation of utensils and techniques you can choose from. For example, there are pizza stones, which are made of ceramic, that act similar to a cooking sheet, which is what we're using today. I have a cooking sheet, and if you can see the bottom of it, it has holes in the bottom, so that way it allows the crust to still be crispy, but melt the cheese and make sure it's thoroughly cooked. Whenever you use the stone, it absorbs the moisture and provides a crispy crust, imitating the effects of cooking it in a brick oven, which a lot of people like brick oven pizzas. They're very popular today. Many fast food pizza chains use a deck oven or a conveyor belt because they can cook pizzas to meet the demands of customers. After all, pizza restaurants in the U.S. make up a $37 billion industry, according to Rick Heinem of Pizza Magazine in his 2014 Pizza Power Report article. Most homemade pizzas are baked in a conventional oven at 400 degrees, which is what I have my oven set to right now. Generally cook it for about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how it was prepared and what size it is, whether it was on a pizza stone or a baking sheet. In this example, we're just using a pizza pan. Once the pizza is finished cooking, we'll let it cool slightly, and you can either use a knife or a pizza cutter to portion out the pizza. There are two common ways to cut your pizza, either in squares or pie slices. Many people use squares for the thin crust pizzas like Domino's, but today, once our pizza finishes cooking, we're going to cut it in pies because that is my preferred way of eating it. So now that you know how to cook a pizza with your family, I hope you enjoy, and I hope that I've taught you a delicious way to host a dinner. Thank you for watching. Bye.